choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
WWDB 860 AM Philadelphia and WPEN HD2 Burlington, Philadelphia. The following programming is sponsored by the Fishtown, Kensington Area Business Improvement District. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
Good morning, everybody. And of course, what you talking about, Philadelphia? It's time. Your weekly wait, your agony is over. Infotainment awaits. Of course, I'm talking about. Say, okay, you're jumping in early. Love that. Welcome to another fun-filled edition of Find It in Fishtown Live, here brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District. Marc Colazzo with the Zsa to my Ava. And by the way, Kae Anderson, of course. Kae, do you know who Zsa and Ava are?
I mean, I'm assuming you're not talking about Zsa Binks, so...
Who? Is that the one from Star Wars?
Yes.
Jar Jar?
Yeah.
No, this is Zsa Gabor.
No.
You don't know who that is?
No.
Not
Did
even.
you say Jar Banks?
Jar Binks. Do you remember Jar Binks?
Yeah, but she said Banks. No.
I said Binks.
Yeah,
Oh, Binks?
He plays.
Okay.
He plays for the Knicks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a big fan of his. Anyway, say this is why this every episode goes to the
Smithsonian.
It's way too early for my mouth, in many more ways than one. Thank you so much. That's Chewbacca. Thank you. You know what's funny? It reminds me. So when I had some interview I did one time, and they asked like favorite actor. So of course to mock it, I put Chewbacca down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's very good.
I mean,
He's
quite
got
a
great
performance.
range.
Yes.
And always is consistent.
That's his job.
No matter the question you ask, his answer is... Ooh, there was something a little before that. Did you notice that? Anyway, how are you, Kae?
I'm good.
You're
As
just
I
enjoying
slurp down my coffee.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very classy. And by the way, we got to give a shout out to, of course, the show leading into ours, Bloomers in the Garden, or is it Boomers in the Garden?
But
Bloomers. We love the bloomers. I learned more about dirt and soil and, of course, spraying your weeds.
Well, they also have some really interesting facts about bees on the one episode that I wasn't familiar with. Bees are very important to our ecosystem.
How would that be?
They pollinate.
Oh.
They pollinate the world.
Thank you, Miss Science. By the way, Kae, who is this show brought to you by?
This show is brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District.
And what do you get there?
Everything.
Did you hear my voice crack?
You were just so excited about the
I'm
fabulous
going to do
Fishtown
puberty
District.
till I get it right.
Congratulations.
You know what? It wasn't so pleasant the first time.
Maybe it'll be fine the second time around.
You think?
Yeah.
That's what I need, more acne and my voice to change. And be afraid to talk to girls.
Oh, boy. But yes, you can find everything from the fabulous Fishtown District at fishtowndistrict.com.
And how can people see what they're hearing today?
You can go to our Facebook page, Fishtown District, or find us on YouTube, Fishtown District.
Thank God you're the professional of the two of us. And by the way, if you want to call in to ask Kae and I or our super duper guests coming up any questions, give us a call on the Find It at Fishtown Live hotline, 888-329-3306. That's 888-329-3306. By the way, I think most people know of the very active social life that I have, which is, of course, meaning falling asleep in my love seat. Mm-hmm. Did you happen to notice the biblical storm that we got last night? Like literally animals were walking 2 by 2 on City Line Avenue as I came in today.
No, I must have slept through the whole thing.
Did you really?
I had no idea it stormed last night.
The only reason I knew because I fell dead asleep, around 8 o'clock.
Right.
And then I wake up around 10. Uh-huh. And there was my phone was blowing up, storm emergency. So apparently it just came down. Matt, you were of course the meteorologist of the team here.
Okay.
Did you notice that there was a large storm last night?
I did. I heard thunder.
How'd you handle that?
I hid under my table. And
Like a dog does.
I shivered.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My dog would do that and pee. So
Wonderful.
we loved storms in the Collazo household.
I'm glad my dog doesn't do any of those things.
No. Well, Matt does that, actually.
I mean, hey.
That's why we always pray every morning, please don't rain. Please don't rain. Because,
I might not show up.
no, we have to pull you out from underneath the table. Anywho.
Ooh.
But a lot's going on today. We have a great guest today, a very talented young musician that I'm looking forward to speaking with. And Kay is looking forward to speaking with as well. So it would be both of us.
Absolutely.
Would be looking forward to speaking with her. But of course, we have to saddle up to take the fun-filled journey to America's favorite showplace. Of course, we're talking about Kay's Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop
I forgot
what
the
you're
new
doing
intro.
And listen.
Nobody.
Listen to me now. Pay attention, honey.
I got to ask a question. I always have a lot of questions.
Always.
The last one that goes like the Kay's Corner, the one that's who is that?
Me.
You are gifted.
Thanks.
So
I
talented.
got to tell you something.
Yeah, I mean, you just play with the sound, and I don't really sound like that, but
Yeah,
we had some
normally
sister
your
act before
charisma just flies through the
Yeah,
airwaves.
did you notice we had some sister act in there with the Whoopi Goldberg right before that?
No.
Yeah.
There's quite a few samples in there.
I
gotta
know Will
dissect it.
Ferrell is in there. That's the first one I
Missy
remember.
Elliott
Missy Elliott, I heard.
and from Dirty Dancing.
Never saw that movie.
No?
What?
Never saw that movie.
A reference that I get that Mark doesn't?
Never. And by the way, now I'm like determined never to see it.
Just because.
Does that strike you as something that I would enjoy? Dancers on the Poconos?
Yes, actually.
Really? Really?
It was kind of a creepy movie. I mean, the dude was in his 30s, and it wasn't the girl like a
A high schooler.
high schooler. So, yeah,
That's wrong on many levels.
yeah.
Anyway,
Different time.
luckily you could take a lot of detours and you end up right back at Kay's Corner. Kay, what's going on in the we're happiest place on earth?
So we have a lot of great things happening over here. in
We
Fishtown,
do.
as always. So if you weren't familiar, which I recently introduced Mark to the concept of Fishtown First Fridays. So
Yes.
First Fridays have been happening in Fishtown for as long as I can remember. So at least since 2013, since that's when I moved
You're
to the
that
neighborhood.
old, are you?
Yeah, I'm real young. But this past Friday was First Friday in the neighborhood, and now with businesses coming out of the pandemic, a lot of our shows were back around this time. So I wanted to highlight a few of the things that you can go walk down the corridor and find. So we'll start at the top. Kensington Community Food Co-op, they do have 2 new artists featured in their cafe. This last Friday, they had one of the artists, Neha, come and speak and introduce her art to the community and answer questions about her pieces. So you can still go check those out. They are there. The cafe is open from 3 p.m. until the store closes, which is at 8. So go ahead, stop by, check it out. Actually, tonight would be a great night to go.
Why is that, Kay?
Because we do have another Coral Makers Market. Woo!
Give me the Chewbacca sound. Thank you. He loves it. That's one thing about Chewbacca. He loves farmers markets.
So come on by, check it out. That will be from 4 to 8. We actually have Daryl Bennett again, our saxophone player, and then New Groove Music Studio is coming by today, and they are a music education program, and they're inviting a few of their students to come by and perform in the earlier hours, so we will have some live music before 6 p.m. as well.
Nice. Hopefully the weather will hold out. Have you checked the...
It's going to be great.
I'm such an old man.
I know. You check the weather forecast every week, and I don't.
Well, I only check it because I don't want to get wet.
And
Very
his joints hurt when it rains.
Yeah.
It's going to happen either way, so I will be there from 4 to 8.
Atta girl. I will be cheering for you from the love
Exactly.
seat, of course.
So another great place to check out art within the Fishtown district is Corridor Contemporary. So this is a gallery space that's down closer to Frankfurt and Girard at 1315 Frankfurt Ave. And they also just had a recent opening this last Friday. So you can you can see work by Eric and Kala and Jeffrey Palladini, and their series is called Line Work. So this is a really great exhibition. So Nkala is based out of New York. And Palladini is based out of California. So they both make unique, distinct use of line as a compositional element in their work. And the exhibition presents a playful interplay between the two artists' work, plus a focus on their respective use of line in creating their signature aesthetics.
Whew.
That's a lot of big vocabulary words for this early in the morning.
A playful exhibition using line, L-I-N-A.
Yes, line.
I thought
The
you were saying
element
lime.
line.
Like, that'd be cool.
Like
actually, a margarita.
A whole wall
Yeah.
of lime art
Yeah.
wouldn't be too foreign for Corridor Contemporary either.
No, but that's awesome. And it's always very unique, very exciting stuff. So definitely check it out.
Yep. And finally, we do have a new piece of street art in Fishtown as well. So there is a yarn art pizza with Umbrella Heart collaboration. So if you haven't heard of Umbrella
Say that again?
before,
Can you do that? Say that again?
I can't even repeat that if I tried. But if you've never seen Umbrella's art before, she is the one that does all of the heart-shaped street art that has the messages in it. You see it all over the city.
Sure.
So if you see the yarn art pizza at Frankfurt and Norris with the hearts on it, that is a collaboration between Umbrella and Lace and the Moon. So the piece is called Where'd You Go? And it is a message about street harassment and consent.
Interesting.
Yep.
Because it's funny, when I looked at that, I would never have gotten that. But now that you say it, I get it. And we'll also make sure we can post that picture of what it looks like on our Facebook page and all social media methods, pages, places,
Absolutely.
locations.
There is a new article about it on Streets Department website, so you can check out the message from the artists and some progress shots of when they were installing it on their website, streetdept.com.
Look at you. And one thing to add to on the First Friday front, down on every part of the corridor seems to always have something going on. So Philadelphia Barber Co. At 1106 North Front. If you got to go check this place out. Besides getting your hair cut, some of us don't really need that. But it's very cool decor, very modern. They do have some cocktails for their guests to enjoy, and they like to give back to their part of the neighborhood, so they do a First Friday as well. Their next one in September is going to focus on photography and local art. Love and Honey Chicken usually provides food. There'll be spirits, of course. So definitely add that to the list, and we're going to be working with them on a Halloween-themed event for October. So stay tuned.
That's exciting.
It's in the corner, so it's got to be exciting.
Absolutely. I have one more piece of exciting news to share. So a couple of corners back, we talked about Harriet's bookshop and the fact that she was...
Is that annoying?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
The fact that she was raising money towards buying a new property in Fishtown to make a permanent home for her bookshop. And we are pleased to announce that she has completed that goal. She has passed settlement on a new property in Fishtown, and she will now be calling Fishtown a permanent home.
Gotta love it. We love Janine.
Absolutely.
I love the work she's going to do. It's awesome. There it is.
Yep. So congratulations to Janine. We're so thankful to have you and get to keep your shop here where it all began. So
Absolutely.
Thank you to her.
Every day she amazes me of what she accomplishes. And the fact that she wanted deliberately to make Fishtown her home, and how the neighborhood and she just kind of embraced each other is pretty amazing, and we're looking forward to it. And as you can hear from the large crowd that has assembled outside the Find It at Fishtown studios, they're excited as well.
Oh, they should be. So with that, I believe it is time for Kae's track.
K-Track. 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 K-Track of the week.
Word.
So I got a vibe for y'all this morning.
Okay. There you go.
And I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to let you guys
Get up
hear.
and dance. Oh.
You're funny, Mark.
Thank you.
No, I'm going to let you guys hear the entire track.
Wow. Is it a short one?
It is a short one.
Okay.
Yeah. So today we have West Philly native, somebody who I've been watching for quite a few years now, and she just never ceases to amaze me. She's a great artist, great performer, and she rocks any stage from a sidewalk to a huge festival. So this track is Bribe by Soraya Nicole.
It's a bribe. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. He tries to cop feels, she clothes he tries to until she never reveals. She chose to say silk walking away with high heels. He offers hot meals, she don't take bad deals. It's a bribe, he don't really care about the inside. Manipulating, telling them lies. He just cares where the key lies. It's a bribe, he don't really care about the inside. He don't even really want no inside. He just cares where the key lies. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. It's a bribe.
Girl, queen, what's your name? That afro you got about as thick as your frame. Slow down, molasses, girl, let me ask you what you finna do today. Take your headphones out, I'm tryna talk to you. I see you rocking them heels in the contour. You wanna be my missus, you ain't gotta say more. And we can get a little freaky on the way home. Maintain all night like conditioner. When it come to money, girl, I'm the commissioner. Don't you know I'm the pleasure practitioner? Practitioner, yeah, practitioner. Cause it's a vibe. I don't really care about the inside. I'm just trying to get inside your insides. Turn you out like a broken street light. Cause it's a vibe. I don't really care about the inside. I'm just trying to get inside your insides. Turn you out like a broken street light.
I'm tired of women who've been wired. Could they be any higher to start fire and ruin my empire? No means no. I told you so. No, 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 no. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. It's a bribe.
So that was Soraya Nicole with Bribe.
That's awesome. By the way, people didn't see it, but our producer, Matt, was shaking his moneymaker so much he almost broke a hip.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, we're all with him. So what was that line that clearly you knew that I would love in the song?
Her afro is thick as her something.
Yeah, it's going to be my Facebook clip. That was awesome. And who was
Afro
that
as thick
again?
as her frame. That's what it was.
That's it.
That was Soraya Nicole.
Love it. Love it. I have to be honest with you. If people spent more time in the corner, there'd be no war, no COVID. No me doing this with my mask on the mic.
Yeah. The corner is definitely pandemic free.
Feel that?
Right.
that?
Yeah, I hear it.
I don't know if you can you hear that, Matt?
Yes, we can hear it.
Everybody can hear it.
Oh, all right. I didn't realize other people were listening. Okay, that was awesome. So while we're all settled up here in the corner, we might as well just go keep the vibe going, of course.
Of course.
And play America's favorite game show. Yes, your prayers have been answered. I'm talking about What's Mark Wearing?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today?
And I want to thank ABBA for composing that song and writing it just for this segment. Of course, it's brought to you by Fabulous Fabrica in the Fishtown district. If you want to see people swinging from the ceiling while having great dining, that's the place to go. Now, today is another theme. Everything is a theme now. So you can imagine how long it takes me to get dressed in the morning.
I imagine you actually plan it out and lay it out the night before.
Dude, you are like, you nail it. Yes. Seriously?
I knew it.
Yeah. And I managed to find things that I didn't know I had.
Right.
So today, taking you back to, I don't know if you know this show.
I do.
Okay, you do know the show. So this was
my childhood.
I was in law school when this came on. This was right around the time of Beavis and Butthead. Of course, we're talking about, these were the intellectual duo of the cartoon people.
Of course.
We're talking about everybody's favorite couple of pets, Ren and Stimpy. I like that. Remember that? Got like a jazzy theme, doesn't it?
This is back when soundtracks really invoked the picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The good part is I'm waiting for lyrics that are not coming.
I know. I'm wondering what you're waiting for.
Yeah. So, for those that don't know, it was a cartoon for about 5 years.
Yes.
I think it was on like Nickelodeon, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And they were the dumbest, most moronic animals that you could pit together. So Ren, and I'm giving you the exact description, Ren, a psychotic chihuahua. So clearly I was in just for that. And Stimpson J. Cat.
Wait, he had a full name?
He had a full name.
I didn't know.
Who was a dim-witted, you didn't know this, by the way, a dim-witted Manx cat who goes by the nickname Stimpy. Have a host of unusual adventures. And the adventures would always somehow end up with Ren, who looked like his eyes were bulging out of his head. And I don't know if we have the soundtrack for this, but we'll jump in with whatever you have. Ren calling Stimpy, not an idiot, an idiot. Do you have that, Matt? Let's see what he's got.
You're putting him on the spot.
I told him before. I literally gave him 5 good minutes. And Stimpy had a book.
Soup? That's my collection of fur balls and stomach acid. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy.
You're going to be singing that all the way home.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy. I don't think you're happy.
I don't think you're happy yet.
I'm so happy. That's so great. I just remember Stimpy having a booger collection.
You idiot!
That's
You're
it.
trying to kill me, man!
There you go.
So he was sort of, what ethnicity was he, Matt? Like what he had an accent.
I don't know.
I put a lot of thought into this. Like, play that again.
You idiot! You're trying to kill me, man!
It's kind of like a cartel.
He's very
accent.
angry. He's very angry.
Yeah.
Maxie, did you know the show, Ren and Stimpy? Again,
she's young.
Are you regretting coming on this show now? You didn't realize that you'd be talking about this. But just so, the shirt, by the way, is Ren and Stimpy.
Yes.
And not to be out, and this was by coincidence.
There's no such thing as coincidence
No, this is
when
a
it comes
coincidence.
to what Marc is wearing.
When I was visiting our Florida correspondent, my mother, of course, you got together with my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So they know of my love of socks.
Yes.
So my cousin Bonnie bought me a pair of socks with Ren and Stimpy on them.
Wow.
And the coincidence was I had just ordered the shirt.
Wow. Serendipitous.
Sir and damn dipitous. That's right.
Absolutely.
So again, happy, happy, joy, joy. And if you're...
That's right. I'll teach you to be happy. I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs.
Oh, dear God.
Now, boys and girls, let's try it again. Happy, happy, joy,
And with that, we're going to go right to our... Because I am happy, happy, and joyful. You're listening to Find It at Fishtown Live, the happiest and most joyful radio show in the world. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
It's been part of Philly for over 10 years, so Rivers Casino Philadelphia knows how you like to play. With better odds, more playtime, an upgraded rewards program, plus a state-of-the-art sports book, great restaurants, and more. Everything that real players want, without the overpriced distractions. Rivers Casino Philadelphia is for those who play to win, not play to pay for some fancy new place. Rivers Casino Philadelphia, always on our game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Teachers shape the future. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who'll make preventing pandemics their life's work. Sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who'll help combat climate change. And generating possibilities for a student who'll be the first in their family to graduate college. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart.
Heather's moment has arrived, and you just hope all that training pays off.
Heather lays down her purchase, but Randy rings it up as slowly as he can.
Uh-oh.
Yep, she's looking at the cigarettes.
There's nothing good back there.
Heather's arm is in motion, but she just grabs the gum off the counter.
That's a slick move.
Even Randy tips his cap to Heather. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally wants you to reduce your risk for cancer.
Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, this is so much fun today. You're listening to really the greatest thing your ears will ever have. You're welcome, planet Earth. You're talking about Finding a Fishtown Live here, brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District for all things magical, wonderful, super, for every adjective you could find. You can find it in the Fishtown District. And Kay, hello, Kay.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
Where can we find all these great things happening in the Fishtown District?
You can go to fishtowndistrict.com.
And more important, I think people really need to see the faces that are bringing the joy to the world, really. How can they do that?
They can go to our Facebook page, Fishtown District, or go to our YouTube, Fishtown District.
I have to be honest, you are a pro. People don't, besides how well she does it, no headphones on.
Not at all.
It's as if she's sitting right in front of me and can hear me without them.
I can.
And by the way, if you want to give a call after, let's be honest, after that last segment, why wouldn't you want to come talk about it? Or our next guest, very talented young singer, performer. We're thrilled to have her. She may not be so much after that last 20 minutes, but we're talking about the lovely, the talented Maxie Mandel. Good morning, Maxie.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Enough about me. How are you?
I am very well. How are you?
Well, you can see we have a good time
here. I
here.
actually don't want to hear how you are because I already heard. So.
Well, putting me right in my place, did she?
I mean, I warned her.
You told me not to ask.
So first and foremost is tell us a little bit about you. You're a singer. I think we've played Maxie on your corner, right?
Last week's track of the week.
That's what I thought.
Ooh.
Yeah, and by the way, the cards and letters have just kept rolling in. Literally, we have to get another office just for that.
Can I see him?
Yeah, Matt took them home.
Oh.
He reads everyone and answers them for us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Best producer in the world back there.
Yeah, no problem.
So tell us a little bit about how your love of singing and performing came about.
So I started piano lessons when I was 5, and I think my parents kind of knew from before then that I was like a musical kid, and I wanted to have music in my life. And I actually wrote my first song when I was 5 too. I think it was my first or second piano showcase concert thing through the music school that I was with, Merity Winter School of Music. And I performed my song. It was called Cell Phone, and there's like a video of it. It's so embarrassing. But after that, I was just writing songs. I gotta get that video. I think it's buried really deep in YouTube. I started guitar when I was 8 or 9, and then I was writing songs since then. And now I'm a fully developed, I like to think, singer-songwriter with music out on streaming platforms. And music has just been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember.
Were your parents, like you said, you picked this up kind of when you were 5. Were your parents very active in encouraging you when you were that age? Did they present you with a lot of music or that type of thing?
Yeah, so my parents weren't musicians themselves, but they both believe that music is really good for a child's development, obviously. But then when I was showing signs of leaning toward music early on, I think that they were really inclined to make me stay with that because it was just something that I really enjoyed. But like any other 5-6-year-old, like I did not want to practice. And then there were certain things about taking piano and I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. Like I just want to play these songs. So of course they made me practice and I'm glad that they did because you hear so many stories about people saying, I took piano when I was your age, but I didn't stick with it because I didn't practice and now I wish I could play an instrument. So I'm glad that they made me.
At some point, what made you stick with it? I know your parents kind of were, you're going to do this, but what drives you to keep doing it?
What drives me is the songwriting. I'm not good at sight reading. I'm not good at music theory, any of that. I try so hard, but
Ditto, by the way.
Yeah, the thing that keeps me going is like the creativity and exploring and making up my own stuff on the piano and the guitar and adding my lyrics to it. And I also am teaching beginner piano and guitar lessons right now, like side hustle. And one thing, I'm not obviously teaching the sight reading because I can hardly do that myself, but I'm teaching people how to play chords and then be able to create their own music out of that because I think that's where the fun is.
Interesting.
So talk to me about your transition from being a practicing playing musician to actually getting into a studio for the first time and recording music and writing music. How was that? When did that happen and how did that transition become?
That happened, I think the first time I was in a recording studio was in 7th grade. So I was 12 years old and I had known since I was probably like very young that I wanted to do this for my career. So I was just like, I'm in a studio. I'm like Taylor Swift, Katy Perry. Like, this is so cool. And I had 3 songs that they were like my first 3 good songs, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I knew that I had like a band to help me with them and they were going to sound amazing. And I was going to be like this huge pop star when I was 12 years old. Anyway, maybe they're not
Weren't
the songs.
we all?
Maybe they're not the songs that I'm most proud of today, but they're actually pretty good. So I guess it was just like a change in my head from like, okay, this is something that I do like on the side and I just do open mics and stuff, or I just perform like in front of my classmates or at school or at talent shows or whatever too. I'm actually making music and it's like permanently out there for somebody to listen to. I didn't decide to upload those songs obviously, but I do have them. And that's just a shift to where like I can actually like it's like tangible kind of. So that was cool.
So your first time recording was with a band, which for our non-musician listeners is unheard of. That's a big deal. How did you find a band? Where did you go to record? Like, how did you even find these places and these resources to make your passion a career?
Yeah, so I need to shout them out really quick.
As you should.
The band is called Darla, and they're a Philly band.
I love Darla.
Really? You
know
them?
Yes, I booked them for Blocktoberfest pre-pandemic. Great band.
Oh, awesome.
Big fan.
They are. They're great.
I believe you.
Yeah, everyone
That's
go
why I
listen
love
to
them.
their music. They're really good.
Yes, absolutely.
I've seen them live a few times, and they kill it. So I'm going to be completely honest. I was like 12 years old, so I'm not exactly sure how all of it happened, except I asked my parents if I could record some music over spring break, and they said yes. But the studio, it's called Studio Crash, and it's actually in Fishtown. So little did I know that 8, 9, 10, 11, 4 years later, I would be moving to Fishtown, but that's where the studio is. And Michael Harmon, who works there, he's a family friend of ours. So that's where we recorded, and he's a great guy, and it's a great studio, and shout out Studio Crash.
Yes. Awesome.
So who would you describe as some of your influences of not how you, obviously everything comes from something. Who do you follow? Who do you think you sound like, if there is anybody, and that type of thing?
My number one, something that everybody probably who has ever met me knows about me is Taylor Swift. She is my number one influence. People are like, oh, Taylor Swift, like whatever. But I'm like, no, she is my biggest songwriting inspiration, my biggest influence. I get transported when I listen to her music. Her music has helped me ever since I was a little girl. So that probably definitely helped to shape my songwriting as well. And I didn't know that it had a direct influence on my songs, but people tell me sometimes that when they listen to my new song, Sad Girls, well, not new, it came out in October, but when they listen to that track specifically, that they're like, I thought this was a Taylor Swift song. Like, this sounds exactly like a Taylor Swift song. And I'm like, that is such a huge compliment. Thank you.
Well, what about her moves you?
It's the lyrics. It's her ability as a lyricist to just like paint one moment, but have enough words to describe it in an entire song. Like it's magical, her songs to me.
Would you say, you know, I'm a music geek. Obviously, I'm older, but some you're a songwriter, a singer-songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you enjoy more?
That's a tough question. Can I say both?
You could say whatever you like.
I love songwriting, but I also do vocal production. So I like stack layers and layers of like myself on each other basically. And I've been doing that a lot recently. And that literally just fuels my existence. Like it's my favorite thing to do. So I might have to say both.
Of the songs that you've written, and I believe they're like 6,000 at this point, ladies and gentlemen, what is the one you're most proud of that you look back and you go, I can't believe I wrote and sang that?
I've been very proud of the songs that I've written recently, especially as I've gotten older, how I've channeled my emotions into my songwriting. But I think the one that I'm going to have to go with is my debut single, Rise. I wrote that when I was 14 and I released it last year in July when I was 15. But that song, it just... I thought that I would go back and cringe on it and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I released this. But the whole experience of recording it and having it transform from just like a piano song into an actual real life song that I had out on all streaming platforms was an incredible experience for me. It was like a transforming moment as a person and an artist. And the song itself just means a lot to me because it's about like empowering and inspiring and overcoming a challenge, no matter what that might be. And I wrote the song to help me through like a time in my life. I was transitioning from middle school to high school, I believe, and people were mean and like I didn't have friends, all that stuff.
Yes, they were.
That was a terrible time. And I wrote the song to remind myself that anything that I was going through in the moment wasn't permanent. It was just happening in the moment. And so every time I go back and listen to it, it still resonates with me. So I couldn't be more proud of a debut song than that one.
That's awesome.
I really love the way that you're able to convey emotion and get excuse me and get very personal through your music. Is that something that has always come naturally to you, or was that a learned process of being able to be so personal and vulnerable with your fans?
I think that ever since I started really writing, maybe when I was 10 or 11, that was what I tended to more. I'm not speaking English. That was more of what I tended to do.
Yeah, we understand you.
Yeah. Kind of some like gibberish mix. It's harder for me to write about things that I've never experienced. So like at that point, like I've never been in love. I've never like gone to a club. I've never like taken shots at a party. I don't know what all those songs on the radio are about. But I just knew what I was going through, and I was having trouble in middle school, and I like didn't have a lot of friends, and I was like figuring out who I was, and I was like going through a hard time, and I just knew I wasn't thinking that other people could resonate with it at first. I just wrote the song as I was feeling. But then as I was writing the song, I was thinking like, okay, I'm just going to like change certain words. Maybe I won't say I or something like that, because this song is something that I think other people can relate to. And one thing I found that even though the songs that I write are so specific to moments in my life, like, I don't know if it's a gift or anything, but I feel really lucky to have the way that I express it be able to resonate with people even when I wasn't particularly writing it for them. If that made any sense at all.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you also, so I've seen you perform before. You performed at our last Makers Market. And not only did you play your original music, but you also threw some covers in there. And some of those choices I was a little surprised by because, one, your age, but two, they were a very wide range of cover songs. And so I was wondering, how do you choose your covers? What songs, what's your favorite cover song to perform to?
Oh God, let me tell you about this. Everyone's gonna be like, I never want to see her in concert again. This is terrible. But let me just preface this, okay? Singing, and this goes back to the what do you like more, singing or songwriting? Singing is difficult for me sometimes. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't have an Ariana Grande voice. Like, I can't do insane runs and riffs, and I also had a lot of vocal issues when I was in 6th and 7th grade, so I've been with a vocal coach since then, like working on breath support and all those things. And so I think I have a very powerful voice when I'm using it that way, but what I've found with cover songs is that it is so difficult for me to find one that I actually can sing or like that I sound good singing. So literally I just have like 5 to 8 songs that I'm just like, these are the only ones I can sing. And you heard most of them when I was doing that. And because I write originals that are like crafted for my voice and my brain can just like do that. But finding covers and singing songs that people request are just really difficult. I've always wanted to cover a Taylor Swift song, but she and our voices are just so different. So even if I put it in a different key, even if I changed it, it would still be difficult for me. So I am like very, very particular about the covers that I perform. So if you see me in concert, just know that you're probably going to hear a lot of the same covers again at the next concert.
Which is totally fine.
That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break. By the way, if you want to give a call to talk to all of us, really Maxie is really who you want to talk to, give us a call at 888-329-3306. That's 888-329-3306. We'll be right back.
It's been part of Philly for over 10 years, so Rivers Casino Philadelphia knows how you like to play. With better odds, more playtime, an upgraded rewards program, plus a state-of-the-art sports book, great restaurants, and more. Everything that real players want, without the overpriced distractions. Rivers Casino Philadelphia is for those who play to win, not play to pay for some fancy new place. Rivers Casino Philadelphia, always on our game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When I got out of the Marine Corps, I was not just, working with my physical disabilities, I was emotionally broken. I remember thinking, how did I get here? How? It was affecting me in my marriage. My husband, he didn't know how to help me. He actually called Wounded Warrior Project. Wounded Warrior Project had this thing called Couples Odyssey.
It was an eye-opener, and I think it really saved our marriage.
They gave us books and resources and tools on how to help us with that. I just love him. I love you, honey.
I love you too. Watching her fight for her mental health, fighting for other veterans, fighting for this family, helped me to fight too. Well, I always loved her, but I love her 10 times more for that.
Not all wounds are visible. If you or a loved one are suffering, visit woundedwarriorproject.org/notalone.
Disability is not inability. A person's ability may be different, but still an ability, no matter one's race or age, no matter one's physical or mental condition. We all have limitless possibilities. For more than 100 years, Easter Seals has helped the 1 in 4 people with disabilities in America live, work, learn, and play. I'm Angela Williams, CEO of Easter Seals.
For more information, visit easterseals.com.
Oh, where did the time go? Welcome back, everybody. Love when my voice just shoots up like that. You're listening to Find It in Fishtown live here on WWDB 860 AM, brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District. I'm Mark Colaza with Kay Anderson, and we're talking to gifted, and I mean gifted, singer-songwriter and Fishtown resident, I believe, right? Maxie Mandel. Now, Max, I have a question, because you come off very confident, very comfortable speaking. Tell us about the first time that you remember performing live where you sang your own songs. Do you remember how old you were?
Well, I was 5 years old, remember?
I thought it was just, oh, that's right. I thought it was just piano.
Nope.
So let's talk about that. How were you leading up to it? What was the experience like? And obviously, it didn't deter you from doing it again.
Now, I was 5 years old, so let me just think back 12 years.
We have plenty of time.
Well, I don't remember much except the excitement that I felt, because I was very bored by like the jazz drills that I was doing. And then when I asked my teacher, like I want to do this song that I'm like doing, and he helped me, of course, because I was 5. I asked him, I think, if I could do it at the show. And he said yes. I remember feeling instantly so excited, and I just loved being on the stage, and I loved seeing the people in the crowd, even though obviously there weren't that many people in the crowd back then. I think throughout my childhood, I just have loved being in front of an audience, and I started to get into musical theater when I was around that age too, so that in addition to the singing in the piano concerts and stuff, that just helped fuel everything together. And I started to realize like this was what I was made to do, is be in front of a crowd and have people singing my songs. So that's been the dream since I was very little. And then since my songs have evolved, and since I've gotten more prepared to be on a stage, I think it's been even more surreal to actually, when people come to my shows and like maybe they've seen me before and they're like actual fans, I'm like, oh my God, like there are people here who know my music and they're listening on the streaming platforms. So I guess it's just like the love of being on stage that takes away any nervousness. I actually think that I was more nervous to be here, because sometimes I tend to like ramble when I talk than to be on the stage. I feel comfortable on the stage.
Welcome to our world. Don't worry about that.
Mark, can I make us both feel old for a second?
Too late for that, but go ahead.
When she was 5, she wrote about a cell phone.
Right. When I was 5, I wrote a song about being able to poop in the toilet. So, which, by the way, proud to say I could.
Hey!
So there you go. So
we all have our own talents.
I'm looking for mine still.
Excellent.
Thank you, man. Is there a performance that you gave that you still remember that, like, man, I nailed it tonight? This was it.
Okay, let me think. Maybe my first, I'll say my first true experience like that, where I realized, like, this is super cool. I was in 6th grade, and we were having a school-wide assembly, and I don't remember why, but I was like friends with the principal, and she got me to sing one of my first like good songs. It was called Wild and Free, in front of the entire school, the entire middle school, that day. And I was like, oh my God, like this is my first big audience. And it was maybe like 1,000 kids in that school, and I was like 11 years old, and I got to sing one of my first like actual songs with my guitar in front of all my classmates, people that were not friends with me, people that were mean to me. It was like a true high school moment where you're like getting to shine in front of all the people who are like whatever, success story. And so I look out and I can't see anything, and it's all dark, and I'm in this huge auditorium, and like there are all these people there clapping and cheering, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing.
That's dope. That's dope. So what's next for you? I mean, I know you're still in school and school's starting back up again, but what's next for you musically?
I have been working a lot this whole year, ever since even like the last time that I released music. This entire school year, junior year, into summer, into this year, I've been working on more music. And I am part of Rec Philly. Do you know that?
Absolutely know Rec Philly. Shout out to Rec Philly.
Yeah, shout out Rec Philly.
What's Rec Philly?
Rec Philly is located down in the gallery. So they are a creative space for all types of creatives. They have a podcasting studio, recording studios, and they also do artist development and help out with a lot of other resources for musicians.
Matt was laughing like you knew what that was.
I don't work for the Fishtown district, Mr.
What's not in
They're not in Fishtown.
Oh, snap.
Got me.
We're in Bala Kinwood right now.
Right.
Very good. See?
Right.
I know where we are.
She's like a singing Magellan. That's an explorer, by the way. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
We were talking about what's next for you. Yep.
So yeah, it's awesome. It's kind of like a record label for independent musicians almost. So I can book studio time there, and it's like so much cheaper than booking an actual studio. And I had an internship at Milk Boy the Studio this year, and I was able to, through becoming friends with the engineers, I was able to pick up some basic things about recording myself. So,
well, you talked about vocal production and stacking your vocals, so I assumed that you were at least up in like Pro Tools or Logic or something.
Yeah, so I use Logic, and I think one of my strengths actually is vocal production and harmonies and layers. So... And I think that people respond to that really well because it's almost like a magical experience when you hear that and it's all around you. And it's not something you hear a lot these days. You hear a lot of really produced like pop on the radio. But I feel like there's this element of musicalness that you don't hear that much anymore. And that's what I love about it. Like, that's what I love about creating. So this project that I'm working on, I was going back and forth. Like, should I make an EP? Should I just drop a bunch of songs? I'm thinking now that I just need to create the content, and I'm leaning less towards an EP and more towards just dropping individual songs and seeing how people react to them. But the songs themselves are going to be original songs that I wrote, probably more piano ballads-ish kinds of songs because that's what I write a lot. But there's going to be a lot of cool aspects of vocal production on them that are not going to make you fall asleep when you listen to them. But I kind of think my style is more like Adele. I know my influence is Taylor Swift, but I think sometimes when people listen to me, they're like, you sound like the new Adele, like that.
That's quite a compliment, by the way.
I love Adele. So that is what's going to be next in my music, and I'm hoping for more interviews, more shows, all of that stuff. So, yeah.
Do you have any music videos out or any other visuals?
I do, yeah. So I have a music video for my debut single, Rise. It's out on YouTube, and Rise is out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. And my song, Sad Girls, I actually had a cool thing happen in April. I decided that I wanted a music video for my song, Sad Girls, because it was doing like significantly better than some of my other songs, and I was seeing how teenage girls in particular were relating to it, and I was like, this is exactly what I wrote the song for. Like, this is amazing. So I was trying to think of ways to get people involved in the music video, especially because I didn't really have a budget for it at all. I don't have a record label. Like, I don't have... I'm trying to raise funds for my music that I want to come out. So I was kind of like, how do I make a music video without really putting any money into it that will still be like really meaningful? So I used TikTok, and TikTok has been something that I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with the past year or so because it hasn't really done me any favors. Yeah, but some people, they like blow up on the first try and like their lives are amazing and they're like rock stars and stuff like that. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, am I not pretty enough? Like, why isn't this happening to me? So but I still wanted to try it because that's where I knew I could find people. So I made a new account. And because I know that sometimes new accounts can do better, especially your first
Play that
post.
algorithm.
Yes, play the algorithm. So I posted a video, and I was like, I am looking for people to be in my music video. Sad girls, sad guys, sad anybody. Like, I just want you to send me a video of yourself doing what makes you happy, singing to the song, dancing, like doing just whatever makes you happy. And I the next day got over 500, maybe like a lot more than that, messages on my Instagram. and also like a lot of new followers too. And they were like, I want to be in your video. I want to be in your video. And it took me so long to get through all of that. And I was like, is this what fame feels like? But more than that, it was the overall thing of like, these are people who want to be in my music video because they listen to the song and it resonates with them. And they were like, I got so many messages being like, I don't want to like read them, but messages of people who have had really hard stories, and then they're like, when I listen to your song, like it brings me hope and it lifts me up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what I make music for.
That's what this show does, by
yes. So the moral of the story is, I'm taking a long time to explain it, but I now have a fan-made music video. I can say that it's an official fan-made music video. And when you look up Sad Girl's official video on YouTube by Maxie Mandel, you will find a whole compilation that I put together of videos that real people sent in, not perfect influencers on Instagram or anything, of actual sad girls, or not sad girls, just regular girls just living their lives and doing what makes them happy. So yes, long story short, I have a music video for Rise out on YouTube and a music video out for Sad Girls out on YouTube, and I have 3 songs out on all streaming platforms: Rise, The Reckoning, which is a social justice song, and Sad Girls.
Awesome. So before we get out of here, I know, Mark, I hogged it today.
No, you nailed it. I just realized how not talented I am by hearing Maxie speak. So thank you for that.
So my favorite question to ask all of our guests, and the last question I ask all of our guests is, as a Fishtown resident, what are some of your favorite places to go in Fishtown, favorite things to do or eat?
Okay, let me think about this for a second. It's been hard for me. It might not be fair, I gotta say, because I moved here in October and then nothing was open this entire year. So I was kind of just like in my house. But I gotta say, living like right off of Frankfurt Avenue, like that main strip, like Soraya all the way down to Joe's Steaks, or even past that, like that is so fun to just like be able to go out of my front doorstep and just like go to basically wherever I want. Let me think. Ooh, we love First Watch. That's really good. I love all the places.
That's always the good answer. It's always a good standby.
It's so different from where I used to live. I used to live out in Bryn Mawr, and like there's nothing like that there. So I guess just being in the city life and then just having such a small neighborhood that you can just go out into and have fun.
Awesome.
Maxie Mandel, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for giving us your music.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And make sure everybody goes and finds her on Spotify, on wherever you stream music, Maxie Mandel.
Yes.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.
They got nothing but the jeans, but they got different strokes it takes.